It's time for Against the Spread. And it is brought to you, of course, by DraftKings Sportsbook. Stay tuned because you'll hear all that DraftKings has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Wow, I screwed that up.
DraftKings.
Yeah.
So good.
Want to try it again? Or?
Leading up to that, you were pristine.
I don't even know. I kind of botched that one completely. Against the Spread is sponsored by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Stugotz, you're back. Get us going here.
All right,
Damn, man.
You're crushing it. There are two big games coming up this Friday night. Women's college basketball. I'm very excited for this. By the way, if Iowa were to complete this run, it would be the greatest run in the history of NCAA tournaments. If they were to get by LSU, which they have done, then beat UConn, and then beat South Carolina, that would be the greatest run since Danny Manning took a bad Kansas team through the NCAA tournament.
You know that Miami's run to the Final Four is still, historically, the toughest route to the Final Four ever.
Right.
Notre Dame's championship in 2018 was pretty tough.
I mean, LSU, UConn, and South Carolina, an undefeated South Carolina team.
Oregon, UConn, Mississippi
Anyway,
State.
it's not going to
Jeremy,
happen.
I did make that
Right.
about Miami there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did.
I'll try
You
to check
did.
myself.
It's
Thank
fine.
you. You're
Yeah.
a guardrail against that.
Just by deep sighing.
Like Isaiah Thomas.
Zeke. But I was rambling there. Iowa's not going to pull it off. Why? Because I agree with Gino. I think Paige Beckers, not Caitlin Clark, is the best player in college basketball. I do. And I have UConn.
Okay, so
Against
The spread.
Thank you. You got there.
Plus 2.5, buy it up to 3.
It's not buy it up.
Over to Jess.
Just buy the hook, Mike.
I'm going to cut the preamble because we ran out of music bed. South Carolina, minus 11.5 over NC State.
Huh?
I would love to hear your analysis there because I'm writing a future on NC State.
Ooh,
Really?
Yeah, I have a few. I
What?
put 3 futures like a month before the women's tournament. It was on Louisville, and I regretted that almost immediately. They started playing poorly after that.
Right.
I had one on NC State because I thought that they were kind of undervalued.
They are. I think NC State's, obviously they're in the Final Four. I think they're really good. But
And I have Iowa. So I got 2 of those futures in the Final Four right now, not playing each other. So they both can potentially have a crack at this USC team that has just been amazing. South Carolina, not to confuse folks.
yeah, it is getting a little confusing. But yeah, I think South Carolina wins. I think they're going to play in the championship. I think they win this one.
You need to hedge that now.
the spread.
Yeah, I'm not getting great buyout options, but we'll see.
There.
Over to Jeremy.
I'm going to men's college basketball. And DJ Burns has just become a fan favorite.
You don't like DJ Burns, Jess?
It was a joke.
She was just booing
Love
men's.
DJ.
in
He's
general.
gonna look
I
so.
love watching Duke
He's
lose
gonna
on
look
Sunday
so
night.
small compared to Zach Edey.
Yeah,
so small.
But I think somehow DJ Burns is going to pull this one off. So North Carolina State +9 against the spread. Tony.
On DraftKings, we've got OKC on a night of a back-to-back. They're in Boston tonight. I'm taking the Oklahoma City Thunder +9.
Is that Oklahoma City, you said?
Yeah, Oklahoma City Thunder.
Little stumble there.
No, there wasn't.
Good try, Chris.
Relax,
Little stumble
DraftKings. Relax.
Nothing will be worse than what you did.
No,
Okay?
that's true.
OKC
But good try.
Thunder. OKC Thunder +9 against the spread.
All right, for my against the spread, I'm going run line in Major League Baseball. I don't really like what I've seen from Joe Musgrove so far this season. He may finally be getting to that age. I have him on my fantasy baseball team. I'm a little nervous. Going to try to trade him. Cardinals had a difficult start to the season, but now rounding into form a little bit. I think they're due today. Potentially sleepy start to that game. Maybe take the under early on, but I'm going to take St. Louis Cardinals +1.5 on the run line against the spread.
Just got a helpful note from Taylor that he saved my DraftKings mistake. And to that I say, go bleep
perfect.
yourself, Taylor.
Ooh, I want to hear it again.
How long is that one going to stay with you? Like, how quickly do you get rid
Forever.
of that? Really?
Yeah.
No, come on. You'll have a great line later in the show, and then it will go away, no?
DraftKings.
Woof.
DraftKings. Because I got the crown, I think. I think what I was doing there,
right.
it's
We were
DraftKings,
anticipating
the crown is yours.
Yes.
I mean, you
DraftKings.
famously combine words, so
I do.
Mm-hmm. So
Kick,
you're
save,
chalk-
and a butte.
Play it one more time.
Yeah, but Mike saved it for you.
DraftKings.
The count is yours.
DraftKings. All right, moving on.
Kick, save, and a butte. Bronny is in the transfer portal.
He works hard.
What does that mean? Is he good?
DraftKings.
I mean, it means he's evaluating the options. Andy Enfield, I don't know if you know this, but he married a model. Not a lot of people know that about him. He married a supermodel. It was very rarely touched on when Florida Gulf Coast made their run. But this is one of those moves where he leaves U.S. That's a joke. That was all they would talk about.
I got
Andy.
it. I know.
So not a
Straight over my head.
yeah.
I thought Bronny got married.
If you remember Dunk City, like it was all they would talk about with him. So he went to USC, the one in California, and it wasn't really working out. There was talk that he was certainly on the hot seat. Maybe they let him go, and he got out before they could fire him, kind of. And he goes to SMU, to a premier basketball conference in the ACC,
Right.
a real blue
Best
blood
one in the
conference.
country.
Honestly, you want to talk about undervalued. The ACC does this every year where everyone says they suck and then they just dominate in March. But he heads over to SMU, which means there's a job opening for USC. Now, he's evaluating your options. You can enter the portal at any time, especially when your coach decides to leave. So he's waiting to see what USC does with their head coaching job. And I think Arkansas's Eric Musselman is in the mix. He's done very well in the transfer portal. We'll see what happens there. Dominoes to fall.
So he's waiting to see who his coach is going to be at USC.
Yeah, see if he likes him, and then
Right.
if he doesn't or wants to go elsewhere, it's all about evaluating options right now.
LeBron, head coach, USC.
Love it.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Musselman's a pretty good hire.
Oh, but could you
I
imagine
think
if
Musselman
LeBron,
went to the Elite Eight last year.
Yeah, but then Arkansas like totally fell off this year. It was weird. They spent a lot of money in the portal. They're one of those schools that the state can fund NIL, and they dominated the transfer portal, but it did not result in wins.
Jeremy, you like the idea of LeBron being the head coach at
I
USC?
think it's fantastic.
Right.
It's
But that's
right
going
down
to
the
extreme
road.
measures to keep a player who's not very good, right?
Yeah, but it's his kid. It's his kid.
I know.
He could coach his kid rather than needing to play with him. Because what we've seen is, I mean, at least for a little while, Bronny's probably not going to be a starting level or rotation level NBA player. So rather than continuing the dream of playing with Bronny, he just sticks with the Lakers, coaches USC. We all know, Mike, you've been saying it. Regular season games don't matter in the NBA.
No.
So whenever USC's playing, he takes the night off, he goes and coaches, and then he heads right back to the Lakers. I think it's a great idea, Stu.
There's no way he's gonna go to a smaller school, right? Like this. If I'm him, I'm
don't know.
going to like the best team that I think will have the school that will have the best team next year, where I can be in the rotation.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably going to go to one of the three schools LeBron said that he was going to go to if he never went pro. Ohio State makes a lot of sense. I saw
Duquesne.
the
Dukes.
Miami Hurricanes uniform mock-up. I actually did watch basketball last night, by the way, but it was the McDonald's All-American game.
Oh, I watched that too.
yeah,
the
Cooper
women's?
Flag looks good.
Oh, I watched the women's game.
Oh, I watched the men's because
Notre
Jalil
Dame's got
Bethea
great player
is
coming.
the number 2 recruit in the nation.
Saw that.
He's committed to Miami, and he
For now.
was just. Well, no, he's signed actually. He's signed. If Coach L, he can leave if Coach L decides to go, but he's signed and committed. locked in.
Did I hear a crumb from Mike there that Bronny to UM could happen?
No, I don't think so. No, but what I was saying is I've seen the uniform mock-ups, and people were just charting Ohio State, Duke, Miami because LeBron played some time down here. I don't think that's a possibility. It's not anything that I've heard. And you have Jalil Bethea, who's going to come in and be a day one starter.
Won the dunk contest.
He looks really good.
But, Chris, you have players like in football, Kyle McCord, the quarterback for Ohio State last year, went to a lesser program at Syracuse. It does happen.
I just feel like I don't know. If I'm just trying to put myself in LeBron's shoes, like, am I really gonna go to Iona?
He should go to not a middle of the pack, not a mid-major, but he should go somewhere that would allow him to get some more playing time. Because if you watch Bronny at all this year, it was very clear that he needed to develop some to actually turn himself into the NBA prospect that people hyped him up to be.
Have you guys used this thing before?
No.
What is that?
Explain what it is you're using.
I saw a meme using it. It's like this. It's like a plastic hook, and you're supposed to like put it into your back and rub like the knots out of your back with it. And it's kind of working, but I kind of am afraid I'm gonna like permanently injure myself with this thing.
Can I have some of it?
You want to try it?
Yeah.
It's
I
really.
I played soccer,
Ow.
and I'm old, and I am just all sorts of banged up. All sorts of banged
I'm at
up.
the age where if I sleep weird now, it's like a week on IR.
Jeremy just said into my ear they should hire Tom Crean.
D. Wade's old coach? No, that's a way to keep him. Anybody should hire Tom Crean.
You gotta like hook it like
Keep who?
under
Keep
the-
Bronny James?
Yeah, get Bronny.
I would love for.
What does he give a shit about Tom Crean for?
I think Major League
turned-
Baseball managers should go out and take their pitchers out with that hook.
That hook?
Yeah.
That's a great move.
Just pull them out.
That's all, folks.
Does it stand to reason, though, that LeBron's going to follow Bronny to be close to him
He should.
geographically?
St.
'Cause I'm
John's
starting to
Knicks.
think St. John's Knicks.
Yes.
There you go.
I didn't see that graphic. That's not a bad place for him.
Bring
That's
it
actually
back to Pittsburgh,
that's
Duquesne.
kind of like the program that I think
Yes.
he should go to, a team that with an established head coach, a proven track record of developing players, and maybe Bronny can turn into what was maybe unfairly by LeBron promised. I mean, it was funny that Bron tweeted out, Bronny's a lot better than some of these guys that I'm watching in the NBA, and then this season happens. He's like, hey, let's relax on the kid. These are unfair expectations.
He did have a heart issue, so that it does
Correct.
kind of play into his level of play, I would imagine.
Yeah,
but if he got cleared, like, what's the issue?
He already
No,
had
I'm
an issue.
glad you mentioned that. But there was a sector of NBA fans that care deeply about the recruiting process and highly touting these people, and said that there's a marketing machine behind Bronny, as you can understand, that he could actually use a great deal of development, and maybe because of those health issues, he got off to a slow start. It was weird to get him into the rotation, and just didn't work out his freshman year the way that he certainly hoped.
Even if he was great, though, that's one of those tweets that as soon as you read it, you're like, "Oh, this might come back to bite you."
Yeah.
The internet streets are saying that it's Oregon, Ohio State, or UCLA.
Oh, West Coast teams.
Oregon, though.
Ohio State.
LeBron's not playing for Portland.
Oh, I wasn't listening. My bad. I was thinking about Oregon and the other school. But when you think about this,
Big
Oregon,
Ten country.
they were in the Pac-12.
Well, why don't we
right? Or
ask
whatever,
me
Big Ten.
next segment about Bronny? He's got opinions.
Okay.
So I caught the tail end of that conversation you guys are having. What are you guys talking about, man? This is absolutely this. Everyone's like, "Where's Bronny gonna go? Where's Bronny gonna go?" Stugotz asked the question.
Right.
Where's Braun gonna go?
Coaching USC.
No, well, no, he's not gonna do that.
While he plays for the Lakers.
So
simultaneously.
you
Skips a
think
bunch of games.
is LeBron micromanaging this? Do you think, or do you think Bronny gives him the reins and is like, tell me where to go?
No. It's like this is a collaborative effort. They're in a boardroom. They've got a whiteboard. They have like a map with strings, and we try to figure out like, okay, LeBron says Knicks, and Bronny says St. John's or Syracuse, and then LeBron
Not
says,
Syracuse, man.
With Syracuse, then LeBron he's got some other options because I think there's other cities closer than New York to Syracuse. Is Cleveland closer to Syracuse than New York?
They're roughly the same. I will tell you that Toronto is closer to Syracuse than New York City is to Syracuse.
Raptors?
By a lot. Yeah, the Raptors.
LeBron, well, how about that for his career? Hey, come back to the team that you tortured and then raise them up, huh? What are the other options? Oregon? I heard Oregon, right?
Yeah, but that can't be enough.
Why not? Blazers?
Nike.
Blazers?
Honestly, because of the ugly court.
It is.
Aesthetically not
It is a
pleasing.
tough watch.
You guys keep talking about Bronny. Like, this is not about Bronny. It's just like, hey, where do you want to go to school, kid?
So LeBron wants to go to Portland is what you have.
There you go. Right.
No,
What's-
I
so
disagree.
bad.
What, UCLA was another one? That means he stays with the Lakers.
With the Clippers.
Oh, we might be onto something.
I mean, if we're doing this game, I'm good with UM. Bring him back.
Michigan?
Jack.
Plays for Detroit?
UM, I meant Miami.
Oh,
Yeah.
I saw his high school teammate is now the head coach at Duquesne, Drew Joyce III.
I already brought up Duquesne.
Duquesne, there you
Bring
go.
an NBA team to Pittsburgh.
What's closest to Pittsburgh?
Expansion.
I think Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Cleveland?
Yeah,
Is
yes.
it Washington, D.C. fairly close?
No, it's pretty far.
He's not going there.
All the way on the other side of Pennsylvania.
LeBron goes back. You know what? LeBron back to the Cavs could work. It could work.
Dude, you said Portland, so he can go anywhere by that math.
I would like to see LeBron with a Yinzer accent, though.
We had him on the Raptors.
I mean, that would be a great story. Conquer another country?
Yins, come down and watch the Dukes.
No one talks like that for real.
You should meet my family.
Oh, my God. I have your family, just a bunch of people look exactly like you. Just
Honestly,
like
no.
the Flow commercial where she
My
plays like a
family-
dude and stuff.
I don't look anything like the rest of my family.
Really?
I'm very suspicious, but my family looks a lot like the Sopranos,
I mean, holy crap.
including my grandma. Not a Yinzer, though.
We're leaving out the Sixers. If
It's
we're talking
Taco
Pittsburgh.
Tuesday.
Oh,
Yes.
Well, I don't know how they feel about that. I think that might be an issue, right? Because Philly and Pittsburgh don't like each other. Do I have that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Also,
Sixers do have a
Little
lot of cap
in-state
room, though.
rivalry.
also shout out to Charlie Day. How's that? 2 cities in one state? How's that even possible? So is Pittsburgh in Philadelphia? No. So what? There was another team, right? Do you guys mention anything else collegiately for Bronny?
We ruled out Miami
We did.
because Jalil Bethea is
Would
the
be
truth.
hilarious if he went to Miami now.
Dude.
Could use some depth behind Bethea.
Oh, if I'm LeBron and Bronny, this is what I do. I have Bronny wear that same ugly shirt. You
Yeah, you get
dust
Jim
on
Gray.
Jim Gray, and you do 30 minutes
Taking
of
my time.
talking about everything.
And then he should tweet, "Hey, let's stop putting unrealistic expectations on this
Here's an
on this
idea.
young man."
Bring DePaul back to relevancy and play for the Bulls.
So I heard this about DePaul. One of the reasons why DePaul struggles or whatever is because where they play is so far from where campus is. But I don't know anything about Chicago geography to confirm.
I mean,
it or not.
Champagne's
I-
pretty far from Chicago.
They play. Well, that's different.
That's it.
I know, but they've had success, recent success at Illinois. So they have a proud tradition of in-state basketballers and from the Chicago
I
Metroland
don't think
area.
you get what he's saying.
No,
Yeah.
you have absolutely missed my
The
point.
stadium that they play at is so far from campus, kind of like Canes and
and,
Harvard.
they
and,
play-
and I think
Yes.
you're missing what I'm saying in that the proximity to Chicago from Champaign hasn't really stopped Illinois from recruiting Chicago at a high
Illinois
level.
doesn't
Not the
play in
recruiting.
Chicago.
I know.
He's talking about the facility. where
He's
they
talking
play.
about-
I know.
Literally,
He's
they
saying about
struggle.
DePaul being too far away from Chicago.
No.
He's saying it's a long drive to get to the games.
DePaul is far from the
You're
facility
using the
where
Miami
DePaul plays.
Hurricanes
Yes,
excuse for
that-
football.
yes.
I thought DePaul
Not an
played at
excuse.
Wintrust Arena. Is that
Yes.
right?
Is that close or?
It's in the city. I don't know.
Should be lose trust.
It is not that close to campus. I guess that's your point.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was awesome, Stugotz.
Yeah. Nailed it. It's like more on the south side by Chinatown, I think.
It is Wintrust.
What's going on with the? I want to talk about Chicago baseball for a little bit because I guess the Cubs are going to be okay. But
He loves baseball.
I saw
man.
some pyro,
Get
and
Cooper
I,
home.
and I also saw some like really sad crowds for the Chicago White Sox. And there's legitimate conversation about the White Sox relocating. I don't know. Chicago being a 2 baseball club town does feel a little odd, I guess, especially when you see some of these crowds. Jess, you have Chicago ties. How legit is this?
Well,
what is the relationship with Chicago now with the White Sox? We're about 20 years removed from their world championship.
The White Sox want a new stadium. Like they want.
It's a dump.
It's
a dump.
It's not a bad place to watch a game. I've
been.
I've had good times there at Guaranteed Rate Field.
Having good times
food,
is different
it's
from.
nice.
It's a dump.
Okay. Well, I haven't been there in like 10 years, so I'll take your word for it.
I mean, Wrigley's a dump, and people love going there.
But
yeah.
it's a dump
It's a
with
dump.
character.
It's a dump with
You're right.
Like
character.
Comiskey, I'm gonna call it Comiskey forever. I don't give a damn what you want to call it. Comiskey.
U.S. Cellular for me.
MVP Baseball 05.
Yeah, Sega Saturn.
The last time I was there was when it was the Cell.
Sega Saturn,
So it's
Big
been a
Hurt
minute.
Baseball.
So, by the way, we've got the video running right here. There's like 2 people. There's literally 2 people in the stands.
I can't take my eyes off of how
Well-
bad that Atlanta uniform looks.
In
No.
fairness to those fans, my daughter just texted me seriously like 2 minutes ago. It's snowing today
But
in Chicago.
it's not just the fans that gave up. In this clip right here, they're searching the dugout for someone to coach first base. It's like a little league game. In this clip, they're like, guys, because apparently the umpires won't start an inning if there's not they weren't starting the inning.
They just said some random.
and they're
dude out
literally
there.
like
Just go ahead.
somebody like you would in a rec league.
Terry,
game.
just go
somebody
ahead,
go
get
out
out
to
there.
first base.
But
So
Jess, you
my
said you said that they're looking for a new stadium.
Yes, they want to move. There's like a waterfront property that they want to build like a huge mega complex. They want to make it like Wrigley Field. Wrigley Field has redeveloped a lot of the area around the stadium, which used to be like smaller bars and stuff, and now they've made it like this huge entertainment district. And I think my general understanding, and I haven't lived in Chicago in like 10 years, so I'm a little out of touch here, but the fans don't like Reinsdorf. They don't like LaRussa. They've just totally mismanaged and botched the operations of the team, including the Bulls, the same ownership.
Yes.
And
Yeah, they had an exciting team a couple years ago. They brought in Tony
Yeah.
La Russa as a culture change.
and it's been a disaster.
yeah.
And
Is
so,
La Russa still he's not managing anymore,
He
right?
did change the culture. To be fair, I mean, he made it worse.
Yeah.
But
Is Tony La Russa still managing? Because I saw a picture of him with white hair, and I'm like, no, that's
He's
not the Tony that I
no,
know.
He's not.
So I think this is them trying to, do what a lot of teams are doing right now, where they're trying to be like, all right, well, we're not going to, we're going to reinvest all of this once we get the stadium of our dreams and the city. Same with the Bears are having issues trying to find a place for their new stadium.
Wait, didn't they just fix up Soldier Field?
No, that was it was like 25 years ago, I think, 20 years ago.
I just saw like a year ago.
No, they did some renovations because they can't get a new stadium.
They had like
Yeah.
these,
But they
all
are-
these
they're
plans.
going-
It was
They
it was
hired-
a sneaky long time ago.
It
when-
was like 20 years ago. And it got delisted from the historic landmark registrar because they've effed it up so bad. And it's truly, I hate Soldier Field, as a spectator. It's just not easy to get around. It's not easy to get to your seat. It's just unpleasant in a way. So they're trying to build a new stadium and they're having issues too. The Bears hired Kevin Warren to oversee this whole
Who's Kevin Warren?
He was the former Big Ten guy and he's doing all the business
Never
stuff.
trust a guy
for
with
the-
two first names. Kevin Warren.
Chris
Yeah.
Cody.
My brother-in-law has 3 first names.
Really?
Yeah. It's kind of freaky.
Was it Thomas Michael James or something like that?
I'm not going to tell you his name, but I don't know if that undoes the second one, that he has a third one.
But is it a legit leverage? They want to stay in Chicago 100%, but how much is relocation being actually explored?
That is a fair question that I do not know the answer
Okay,
to. But
because
I do know that this is not just an issue with the White Sox. The Bears are also struggling.
Yeah.
They bought this property in Arlington Heights, the Arlington Heights racetrack, and now doesn't look like that's going to work out, but it's not off the table. And this has been years in the making.
But it's a Cubs town. First and foremost, it's a Cubs town.
They're trying to keep up with the Cubs.
It's
If
a
you
Bears
saw,
town.
If you saw on opening day the Cubs the Cubs pregame announcements when they unveiled their
Pyrotechnics,
lineup.
you almost had it.
I know, pyrotechnics.
Drive
It's
cranes.
one of the
Pyro.
saddest things.
The inside people say
Look
pyro.
right here. This is the saddest thing in the
come
history of
on.
baseball.
No, that's not real.
This is real.
That's not-
now batting.
No.
And then he jogs out.
Dansby
For
Swanson.
people just listening, they're jogging over a sad tarp, and it's just like fireworks you would buy at a grocery store for $40.
It's not. I'm gonna tell you what. I've seen sparklers at the club that were more ostentatious.
Yeah,
than this.
well, half of them aren't. Well, 3/4 of them aren't working
Right.
properly. 2 of them aren't working at all.
it
is
does
just-
actually make me sad.
That's what the White Sox are trying to keep up
it
with.
makes me
right
want to
there.
cry a little bit.
Stugotz has done some research, by the way.
I have. Amin was right. They made renovations this past year. It looks like an entirely different stadium, Soldier Field.
It's not.
You said you haven't been there in 10 years.
No, I said U.S. Cellular. I was at Soldier Field
Oh.
last year for a Notre Dame game. Or I guess it was 2022, so a year and a half ago.
Bona fides.
They did it a year ago, 2023.
All right, well, maybe I'll go back this year.
There
and
you
let
go.
know.
Yeah, and you let me know.
I'll go back and let you know.
The Comiskey U.S. Cellular, whatever, guaranteed rate, whatever. The difference, someone asked earlier, well, Wrigley's a dump. Wrigley's a dump with character. This place is just
And
a
history.
It's a
Yeah.
box.
Right.
It is literally just a box. It's kind of like some of these NBA arenas. Some of them, like Madison Square Garden, was a dump before they fixed it up. But it was a dump that had character, right? Counterpoint, Arco was a box. It was literally just,
Right.
They took a box and they landed it right in the middle of a city and said, all right, here's your arena. And so I think if the architecture is nice, if it has kind of certain kind of je ne sais quoi, touches to it, that's fine. If it's just like something from the 70s that was just built that looks very blockish, no one wants to keep that.
I can't get over this Cubs opening day thing. Did they have a meeting and they were like, "This works"? Good. Blue tarp, sad blue tarp. Yep.
Here's the messed up part, Chris. If they didn't have the tarp and didn't have the fireworks, they just had the guys running out the dugout and called their names, nobody would have said a thing. It would have been perfectly fine.
Normal day?
Normal day. How much does that shit cost?
Not that much.
Right there.
I feel like
I got a guy who
70.
can put that up in 20 minutes.
They got all 4 of those things for like $200.
200? No way. No way.
I'm going under.
I'm going under for sure. That's $150.
I'm going under that. It's a tarp and a couple of sparklers.
Yeah.
I mean,
It does make me sad, though. That was someone's idea, and
And
they
so many
failed.
people were like,
And I
yeah,
hate
you
it.
should run with that. They don't like the guy whose idea it was, right? That's the only
they're
explanation.
like, we're never doing this again.
No, they did it on
He's like, I
purpose.
swear the sparklers look better on
yeah,
the
to
website.
Look bad.
Yeah, go ahead, do it.